So what about it? You ever been in a place for the first time, walked in for quite a ways, and not known where you were at? You've been at this a long time. Are you going to trust your instinct and go the way that you think you should? Or are you going to get out your compass or your GPS and look at that, get a coordinates, and find out exactly the way you're supposed to be heading, and trust this? You ever been there? I have. And then, worse yet, you trust your own judgment in a brand new place and go the way you thought. So the question is, what are you going to trust? Your instinct or something that's never wrong? Or better yet, who are you going to trust? Yourself or God, who's never made a mistake? That's what faith is all about. That unseen, and placing your trust in that unseen. Placing your trust in your Lord Jesus Christ.
With God by our side, we started this adventure, searching out new areas. We started in the north.
Well, we're down here in Arizona. We found a place that actually has quite a number of these little white-tailed deer. So we're going to give it a try, see if we can get some on film for you. It's going to be a tough job, but we're going to try to do it. I've already seen 4 does this morning. One small 8-point buck, probably about this wide. 8 do. Now they're called Coues deer, but respectfully, since we've hunted them before, we refer to them as Coues. So when we say Coues, you'll know what we're talking about. Come and join us.
Once we found the water, the animals became more visible. Seeing mule deer bucks like this guy made it very difficult to keep that tag in our pocket, still waiting for the elusive Coues. As we worked our way back towards the timber, we were even more pleasantly surprised being able to view and film this beautiful bull. He wasn't, however, alone. He had a smaller partner with him. Reluctantly, we headed to the south, where more Coues could be found.
I think one of the things we've talked about already is how we'll blend and we'll match, we'll change our clothing to kind of meet the terrain and the vegetation as much as possible. And of course, that's what you see me doing here. I've blended a couple different camo patterns together. We're going to be hunting in the mesquite because that's where typically we're going to find the most of these Coues deer. So I've changed my attire, redressed from what's in my pack, and tried to get exactly what I'm going to need for the hunt.
The next morning, even though the bucks weren't in the rut, they were on the move. With the high winds, it was hard to keep the camera steady on them.
Here's the crazy thing. Here it is, the 18th of January. Yeah. These things should be rutting like crazy. And we're seeing 2-3 bucks together. Yeah. Yeah.
It is absolutely amazing how these Coues bucks are so hard to see. We can basically glass an area for quite a while with binoculars, catch a little bit of movement, set up the spotting scope, which Rodney's done right here, and then poof, there they are. We have probably been glassing this morning for, what do you think, a couple hours maybe?
Almost 2 hours.
Almost 2 hours. And we have seen how many Coues deer total?
9.
Nine.
5 bucks.
5 bucks, 4 does. All the bucks shooters. Of course, with stick bows, any Coues buck's a shooter, in our opinion. But I tell you, it's amazing. It's big country, and you'd expect it to be difficult to glass up deer in it, but it's especially difficult with Coues deer because they don't call them gringos for nothing.
Well, like a little bit ago, I had that buck right in the spotting scope. But if I hadn't seen him walk in there, even looking through the spotting scope, because he was in that
Mesquite?
No, he was in that Pocatello.
Okay.
And I literally could not see him looking at him through the spot scope. Now he came back out in the open. But yeah, all these bucks are, look like they came out about the same mold. They're all 80, 90 inches.
Yeah.
They're not huge, but
Right.
they're fun to watch.
said, the rut activity definitely is not happening.
No, the locals have sold us that. Usually it's way colder, and the rut would be crazy right now.
Really the only hope that a guy has is if you can watch them long enough and actually watch them bed down, so you know they're going to be in a place for a while, long enough to give a guy a chance. And then of course getting the wind right and marking their position so you don't lose them as you cover the country from point A to point B. And then when you get within that 100-yard distance, closing in to close the deal on this, in this kind of terrain where this pea gravel is like walking on popcorn. It's incredibly difficult. But Rodney did just that 2 days ago and closed the distance to, what, 32 yards? Yeah. So it can be done, but it is tough.
Well, I'm here to tell you that you can stalk a Coues deer and get within stick bow range of them. I just watched a buck for 3 hours from up above. Worked my way down here over the last hour and a half. Got down within 37 yards of him bedded. He got up, he moved a little bit to the left, going away from me. Then he turned, started coming downhill, angling back towards me. There he was when he came out in the open, about 40 yards away. I drew the bow. He was a little nervous and he was starting to move some more, so I let down. He walked down further, closer to me. At about 32 yards, I came to draw again, anticipating I needed to hold low just like you would for any whitetail. I deliberately picked a spot as he walked about 10 inches below, right at the bottom of his brisket. He didn't duck. The arrow was true to its mark, but all I have are those memories and knowing that it could have been done. And no shoes on, surrounded by 7 javelina. Still a fine day in the field. I recommend it. There's another friend that we want to thank as well. Also a new friend. He'd spotted a mule deer buck that he thought was 180 plus. He had spotted also a Coues buck that he figured to go in the 120 class, maybe a little bit more. He had a dilemma. He wanted to know which one he should shoot. Well, it turns out that he shot the muley, and a fine muley it is. And his son shot the Coues. And again, an outstanding trophy. I related to him my experience about getting up on the Coues buck, how I'd worked in for 3 hours and finally got into 30 yards and got a shot. I had held low, just like I've shared with you, anticipating the drop in the body at the release of the arrow, like whitetails are so typically known to do. And yet, in the end, I had missed. He reminded me, buddy, that is success. Exactly the way I feel about it. In about 30 years hunting these things, I've only stalked 3 of them to 30 yards or less. So, how do you measure success? Is it only the rack? Is it the amount of meat that you get? Is it the friends that you take with you or the new ones that you meet? Or perhaps it's all of those things. You're the one that measures your success. You're the one that sets your own standards. Make sure they're good ones to follow. Until we see you again, God bless you all. And thanks for watching.
Bend bow, bend bow, bend bow. Bend bow, bend bow, bend bow. I can hear the mountains calling, I can feel the cool breeze blowing, I can see the leaves are turning on the trees. It is time to head out where the air is crystal clear and the sounds of nature set my soul at ease. Bend bow,